Chandal has been the word which has been used when we go back to scriptures. Chandals were the group of communities. Then came Shudras, especially in the context of Varna system, that who were not part of any particular Varna, they were considered as Shudras. And later on, when the contradictions came and this idea of untouchability crept in, that whether Varnas are classified on the basis of occupation or on the basis of birth. That is a fundamental debate. And I personally, in the course of my research, in the course of my experience, was not able to find a definite source on what could be the answer to it. Caste issues are usually confused with reservation. That is a very major problem that we have witnessed. नहीं ये तो जाति की बात कर रहा है, इसका मतलब आरक्षण मांगने आ रहा होगा. This is very important. But caste has a sociology, caste has economics, caste has politics. Caste issues does not only mean reservation. I'm not sure whether you've heard this or not, but there are reform like no more 4. Hashtag no more 4. If a family has enjoyed the reservation benefits for 3 generations, that family should forego reservation. Thank you so much. It's a matter of complete honor and privilege to be here at Srijan Foundation. We have been trying for this session for a long period of time, and I'm happy that it's finally happening before such an enlightened gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to briefly expose you towards the discourse which is happening around the Dalit issues, because a lot of which that has been happening since the last 7 decades, especially after independence, has been misguiding us, has been misleading us towards what the problem actually has been. What we understand of it, that it's a group of caste, it's a group of communities which has been historically oppressed, which has been historically exploited because of their social location in the Varna system. And as someone who has been a first-hand beneficiary and the victim both, beneficiary in the sense of the constitutional scheme of things, of the affirmative action policies, and a victim of the caste-based atrocities as well. So at the very outset, I request all of you to have a very objective bent of mind, because caste, unfortunately, has been a very lopsided or a polarized and a very passionate issue since a very long time. It's either my way or the highway. Either you like it or you don't like it. And the conflict over the terminology as well, that is also very dispute, especially in the current time. Why use Dalit? What has been the etymology of the word Dalit? Is it a constitutional term? Is it a political lexicon? Does it emerge from folklore? There is no clarity on that. But I believe that every word has a journey. शब्दों की अपनी यात्रा होती है. Chandal has been the word which has been used when we go back to scriptures. Chandals were the group of communities. Then came Shudras, especially in the context of Varna system, that who were not part of any particular Varna, they were considered as Shudras. And later on, when the contradictions came and this idea of untouchability crept in, that whether Varnas are classified on the basis of occupation or on the basis of birth. That is a fundamental debate. And I personally, in the course of my research, in the course of my experience, was not able to find a definite source on what could be the answer to it. So the term which started from, let's say, Chandal, came Shudras. During the freedom movement, it became depressed classes, as we all know. Ambedkar was considered as the leader of the depressed classes. And that is also something which I'm going to deal with in my presentation. There were other leaders at the same point of time. Babu Jagjeevan Ram was one. Jogendranath Mandal another. Especially in the context of the current debate on the citizenship. We have gone back to the idea of Jogendranath Mandal, who happened to be the first law minister of Pakistan. He was a Dalit, and I'm sure the scholars of your eminence, you would know his story. उनका अपमान हुआ, वो जिस अपेक्षा के साथ गए थे कि मैं अपने साथ अपने वंचित वर्ग के बंधुओं को लेकर के जा रहा हूं, और एक ऐसा नैरेटिव जो आज भी हम लोग देख रहे हैं, दलित मुस्लिम, जय मीम जय भीम, जिसका कोई हिस्टोरिकल फाउंडेशन नहीं, एक ऐतिहासिक पृष्ठभूमि के बिना एक काल्पनिक किए गठबंधन खड़ा करने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। आंध्र प्रदेश के एक लीडर हैं जो बिल्कुल लीड कर रहे हैं इस इनिशिएटिव को, दलित मुस्लिम भाई भाई। I would like to draw your attention towards what Ambedkar has said, especially in the context of Battle of Plassey. It is recorded in one of the books as well. In the Battle of Plassey, Britishers used the soldiers from the untouchable community, the Dusad community. I come from that community. You would know the surname Paswan. We use the surname Paswan. So our traditional occupation, apart from Chaukidari, was of pig rearing. Just try and pay attention to this context. We were also known as pig rearers. We used to have pigs for different purposes. So someone told the Britishers that if you want to fight with Sirajuddaulah in the Battle of Plassey, then you engage with them, recruit them as a soldier. So what happened? They come with a group of pigs, and they were the front line of aggression. So this is something very ingenious, I would say. Napak hai ye to. But this is recorded, sir. This has been recorded, and this is the observation of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and no one else. I speak completely on the basis of evidence. For that matter, you could just Google these three keywords, Dr. Ambedkar, Plassey, and Dusad. You will get the list of resources. To speak about it in detail in the future course. So I usually face this dichotomy. I'm an academic, been in Delhi for the last 15 years, shifted my base to Bihar, Patna University. That has also been an experience. Back in Delhi, this statement was very popular whenever I used to speak about caste issues. I do not believe in caste. I do not believe in caste. And 99.9% of the time, the people who said that I do not believe in a caste is the forward community, is someone who's coming from the forward caste. I've never in my 33 years of life, sir, have witnessed an OBC or an SC or ST saying that I do not believe in caste. It's very important. It's a privileged standpoint. It's a position of privilege. Someone who has never faced caste-related atrocity, caste-related behavior. It's a position of privilege. And this is my stated belief. When I joined National Law University, Bhopal, I was surprised that everyone was given separate room, but a group of 7-8 of us, in 2006, we were given a dormitory. Back then, I did not have that level of wisdom, that level of consciousness that I would have gauged the social composition of that group who were given a single dormitory. You won't believe, by the end of my BLLB honors course, that was after 4.5 years, it was a 5-year course, we realized that each one of us were either SC or ST or OBC. And all the forward community, Madhya Pradesh, which is known for Rajputana, Satna, Rewa kingdoms, smaller kingdoms, all given single room accommodation. No order of merit was followed. This is a brutal reality which we face today as a society. And the problem is that we are not willing to have a conversation on this. कोई चर्चा करने को तैयार नहीं है, कोई विमर्श करने को तैयार नहीं है, खास करके हमारे समाज में। हम चर्चा नहीं करेंगे तो मीम भीम का नैरेटिव बनना तो तय है, फिर शिकायत भी करते हैं। चर्चा छोड़िए, एक्नॉलेज करने को कोई तैयार नहीं है। क्या रिग्रेसिव बातें करते हैं आप, मेरा तो विश्वास ही नहीं है जाति नामक इंस्टीट्यूशन में। मित्रों, जाति भारत में, जाति हमारे समाज में यथार्थ है। इट्स द ब्रूटल रियलिटी। जातिवाद, कास्टिज्म व्यर्थ है, जाति यथार्थ है, रियलिटी है। जातिवाद व्यर्थ है, ब्रुटैलिटी है। एक रियलिटी और एक ब्रुटैलिटी है। जातिवाद व्यर्थ, जाति यथार्थ। लेकिन फिर भी मेरा मानना है हिंदू समर्थ है। हिंदुइज्म में times immemorial there have been internal rectification happening. रविदास कहां से आए? वेदव्यास के समाज के थे? फॉरवर्ड कम्युनिटी के थे क्या? वाल्मीकि के समाज के थे? तो जब भी ग्रंथों को एकजुट करने की बात हुई, हमारे सिविलाइजेशन में दो इंपॉर्टेंट फाउंडेशनल, महाभारत और रामायण, प्राचीन दृष्टिकोण से देखें तो दोनों के रचयिता कौन? अगर वर्तमान सोशल कॉम्पोजिशन देखें तो दलित और बैकवर्ड। फिर आगे आइए, आज भारत का संविधान, हु वाज द चेयरपर्सन ऑफ ड्राफ्टिंग कमेटी? अंबेडकर। तो जब पूरा का पूरा सिविलाइजेशन ही, जब पूरी की पूरी सभ्यता शुरुआत से लेकर के वर्तमान तक उस वर्ग के लोगों के द्वारा लिखे हुए डॉक्यूमेंट्स में चल रहा है, तो मैं मन में ऐसी दुर्भावना क्यों? इसीलिए वेरी थैंकफुल टू सृजन फाउंडेशन, राहुल, he had the courage to have a discussion on such an issue which is very polarized. That's why I request all of you that if you have, and I'm sure at some point of time in your life would have had this position that I do not believe in caste. A lot of you probably might still believe in this. But it's a position of privilege. You can see the data. Atrocities and discrimination. I request you to do a small Google exercise. Just put Dalit as a Google alert. Every day, ladies and gentlemen, every 30 minutes, every 48 hours, every 6th hour, there is a rape, kidnapping, abduction, murder, or any instance of brutality which is happening on a Dalit. National Crime Record Bureau, it publishes its decadal data by the Ministry of Home Affairs. It said that from 2007 to 2017, in the decade, 66% increase in Dalit related atrocities. It's recorded evidence. But still we are not ready to acknowledge. It's not a government problem. It's not a party problem. There is a school of thought believe that it has increased after 2014. So what often has been done, that caste issues are usually confused with reservation. That is a very major problem that we have witnessed. नहीं, ये तो जाति की बात कर रहा है, इसका मतलब आरक्षण मांगने आ रहा होगा. This is very important. But caste has a sociology, caste has economics, caste has politics. Caste issues does not only mean reservation. Now, reservation also, why? For mainstreaming and a mechanism of historical compensation for a long spell of exclusion, dispossession, disparity, injustice, deprivation, and discrimination. This is another big mistake which we commit while we talk about caste. Whenever there is a discourse on caste, caste is often regarded synonymous as reservation. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is unfortunately not the case. Reservation was meant for representation in the sectors where the subaltern voices were not recognized. And reservation over the course of time was stigmatized as well. So when the government brought the reservation for the financially challenged upper class people as well, we took a sigh of relief. You may ask why. Because you used to say that there is a stigma. ये आरक्षित कोटे का है, अब तो सब आरक्षित कोटे के हैं. Yeah, that was also a huge challenge. नहीं, ये तो रिजर्वेशन से एससी एसटी में है, इनका प्रमोशन हो जाएगा, इनकी एंट्री हो जाएगी. बट जब से गरीब सवर्णों को आरक्षण मिला है, तब से बहुत बड़ा काम ये दलितों के पक्ष में हुआ है. अब तो सभी आरक्षित कोटे में आ गए हैं. That is why the second mistake which we all commit as intellectuals, as scholars, that caste issues is synonymous to reservation. Caste census, this is a very important point, was last done and was probably done only once in 1931. And still the reservation is being given on that criteria. Without statistics, correct. On the basis of assumption, on the basis of hypothesis. There is a talk 2007-8 that socio-economic caste census should also be undertaken. But there are a lot of confusion, there are a lot of struggle on reaching out to a clarity of thought. There is no clarity of thought. More than 4 lakh castes. How are you going to document it? Now it has become a political slogan, socio-economic caste census. But is there a possibility of having a socio-economic caste census or not? Or is it a logistical nightmare? But especially the smaller parties, the regional parties, the caste-based parties, the family-based parties, they are making this voice that we should have a socio-economic caste census. Because caste in the due course became vote bank. The communities in the due course became vote bank. The Yadavs, 15-16%, they're in my pocket. I'm going to trade. We know one leader, popularly known as Mausam Vaigyanik, weatherman, with 6% vote bank. He has been a minister in every government since the last 20 years since I have followed politics. How much he has done or not, that is a question I will not answer. But that is also an issue. What does the data say? Why has this mechanism been important? Again, data, ma'am, this is a very important study which was undertaken by Deshpande. On the basis of the standard of living, the socio-economic indicators of the SC/ST communities has steadily declined. So when we say that the economic position, when the socio-economic indicators of a particular community, this is also a great hypothesis that reservation should be given on the basis of finance. The 1931 caste census was only about the numbers. This study was done for examining the socio-economic indicators of these communities, ma'am. Sample study. This is a research. Correct. It's not a census. Yeah, it's not a research study. It's a sample that was undertaken for a paper. Usually comes down to this: merit based hona chahiye. What is merit? How do you define merit? There is a very important book by a retired professor of finance from IIM Bangalore, Professor R. Vaidyanathan. It's a very thin book. I recommend all of you to please read it if you're interested in this issue. It's called Caste as a Social Capital. It's Caste as a Social Capital. जाति एक सामाजिक पूंजी कैसे है? उन्होंने बताया है through a detailed study that how, if I belong to a particular caste, there will be institutional linkages, traditional wisdom, access to credit, access to market, if I want to become an entrepreneur. ये चीजें inherent होती हैं. He's written in his book, Caste as a Social Capital, that around 70% of the global trade of diamond, 70% of the global trade on diamond is dominated by one small community of Palanpur Jains of Rajasthan. I was surprised. I've seen, for Jews, they dominate the banking sector in the New York sector. But among Indian communities as well, 80%, 70% of the global trade on diamond, be it cutting, be it procuring, be it marketing, any sort of linkages, they dominate. So yes, merit. How would you define merit? At the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned that I come from a particular community. And our traditional occupation was chowkidari. Looking at my personality and size, you would realize. But, so from generations we have been doing this. And we have come into education only for second generation, my second generation. And let's say hypothetically there is a Brahmin who has been indulging in tens and 20 generation of studying of documents and scriptures. Would that be pragmatic enough to judge me or him or her on the same dimensions? On the same paradigm? Someone who has been indulging or involved in literary activities for 20 generations and someone who has been just started with in the second generation, how practical is it going to be? So 2 generation versus 10 generation debate is also important. I'm coming from a particular standpoint with no expectation of sympathy or empathy. So it's very difficult. I cannot step into your shoes. You cannot step into my shoes. The Dalit psyche in itself, the fact that a second generation educated person is coming and speaking to you at this auditorium, it's very difficult to fathom. Education is very new to us. I admit it. A family that has been engaging in literary activities, how are you expecting that merit? We cannot be good businessmen. Although there are initiatives, I'm going to discuss it ahead. Sukhdev Thorat, the former chairperson of UGC, he did a very interesting study on how caste plays a very important role in recruitment. What happened? He sent CVs of 10 general category students and 10 reserved category students to private companies for hiring. General category student with lesser number of marks as compared to the SC/ST category of students with higher number of marks. The call for interview went for general category students and not for SC/ST category students. They were not considered. So when you say merit, which is just an indication of how much can you mug up, how much can you remember, that is also very contextual. It is something which is ingrained. Yes, it is published. I'll share it with you. You just like Google Sukhdev Thorat study recruitment, it will come. It's a PDF. So how is merit going to be decided? Merit is contextual. Merit is relative. Merit is a product of cultural moorings and surroundings. Your upbringing plays a very important role, a very significant role in deciding how your thought process is going to be, in deciding how your vision and imagination is going to be. The Dalit vision, for that matter, has been restrictive. Getting a preferential treatment, reliance on reservation, reliance on government jobs, it limits your potential. On the other hand, same person of my age, coming from a different social background, would have a different vision and imagination. The mental horizons would be much different as compared to mine. So that is what I've mentioned. The economic support, access to quality education, this is what that defines merit. And reservation also. 92% of the economy comes under unorganized sector, that we all know. The reservation is only provided for the 8% sector which is organized. Hardly lakhs of jobs where we face this situation. Preferential treatment in education and employment. And that too state sponsored, you're right. So why this brouhaha over reservation? Why confusing caste over reservation? An important perspective. This I just mentioned. This book is very important read. As scholars, as intellectuals, I think it's a very thin book. Caste as a Social Capital, R. Vaidyanathan. It has eventually become euphemism for network. In the present context, caste has just become a euphemism for network. There is a very interesting initiative. It was started in 2005. It's called DICCI, Dalit Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. DICCI. It was started in 2005. The 10th year anniversary in 2015, sir, it happened in Vigyan Bhavan of New Delhi. More than 5,000 entrepreneurs from SC/ST categories came to attend that. It was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India. So what the idea of Dicky is to provide this hand-holding, to provide this mentorship, to provide this network. And today they have been successful. It's very difficult to imagine that SC/ST entrepreneurs, there are businessmen, Mr. Makwana from Gujarat, whose annual turnover is 1,000 crores. He's a scheduled caste. So I'm not only trying to give you a lopsided perspective that there is one, we need reservation, we need state treatment, but there is another school of thought, which is saying that if you give us the requisite platform, if you give us the requisite environment, if you give us the connections, then we can prosper. You won't believe. DICCI, Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the website is www.dicci.org. It boasts more than 5,000. Leather, transportation, natural gas, textiles, you name it, and there is an SC/ST entrepreneur attached to it. A landmark initiative. Similar thing happened, I remember, like 25 years ago in UPenn, University of Pennsylvania. How are we going to have a black president in the United States? There is a book by Devesh Kapoor. So someone just commented that we have to create 100 black entrepreneurs to have one black president. So before an Obama came, 100 Obamas in business were created. This is something which we need to understand. How business creates an atmosphere, a network of people. And it has become a euphemism now. This is what caste used to be. How else do you think that a small Rajasthan community called Palanpur Jains can dominate a substantial share of global trade in diamond? Unless until there is a feeling of camaraderie, unless until there is a feeling of cooperation, the hand-holding stuff. This is what caste provides. And refusing to acknowledge it at all is where the problem exists. The most important issue that has come up now, because after 1947, after 7 decades of reservation, a substantial portion of SC/STs have benefited from it, myself included. What is going to be the next generation of reforms? I strongly feel that the introspection has to be done not only from the side of the general community, but also from within the Dalit community. A section of SC/STs have immensely benefited from reservation. And a lot many of us who are living in deplorable condition. Reforms in reservation is critical. But the point is, who is going to lead the reform? What is going to be the middle path? If it comes from the rest, अगर शेष समाज से आवाज आएगी कि सुधार होने चाहिए, तो फिर विरोधाभास पैदा होगा. अगर समाज के अंदर से ऐसी आवाज आती है कि आरक्षण में सुधार की आवश्यकता है, हमारे कुछ भाई बंधु पीछे रह गए हैं, उनको साथ लेकर के आना है, तब बात बन सकती है. I'm not sure whether you've heard this or not, but there are reform like No More 4. Hashtag No More 4. If a family has enjoyed the reservation benefits for 3 generations, that family should forego reservation. That's a call that has been given. No more 4. Like I said, there is a family-based party, a senior minister, his son is in the parliament, his nephew is in the parliament, his brother who just died, he was in the parliament. So essentially all the benefits of reservation are accruing to one single family. And no one is speaking against it. Where will the voice come from? Who is going to speak about it? Who is going to show us the mirror? What's enough? You have been in power. Your son is now second time in the parliament. Your nephew is in the parliament. When are you going to give opportunities for other deprived people from the community? The same thing is happening in case of Meenas in Rajasthan. I don't have a decisive study, ma'am. But that's true. Meena IAS officer. XYZ Meena son IAS officer. The granddaughter IFS officers as well. Everywhere, you see. For how long? One single community, one single family, they're going to accrue all these fruits of reservation. Only me. सिर्फ मैं और मेरा.
Are they really going by reservation, or the representation is part reservation and part their own? Because many are also under general list.
No. There is no creamy layer in SCST yet. There is a discussion of creamy layer, but as of now, there is no creamy layer as such. Now, whether creamy layer is the answer or not, creamy layer again would be imposed from the side of judiciary. Judiciary is a very interesting example. Higher judiciary, people who decide about the fate, the least representative institution. When I say higher judiciary, I mean the Supreme Court and the High Court of the states as well. There was a study which said that around 65 families dominate the benches. Not more than 65 studies, sir. All the high courts, Supreme Court. Only one Chief Justice of India has become from Dalit community, K.G. Balakrishnan. No one after that. Only a couple in the High Court across the country. Are you telling me that the 30 crore population, there are not enough people who can be at the bench side of the judiciary? And all the attacks, all the assault on social justice is happening from the side of the bench. Atrocities Act में judgment आ रहा है. When there is no representation of my voice, creamy layer and reservation, the voice needs to come from within the community. Symbolic भी नहीं रखा है वहां तो. कई जगह सिंबॉलिक रख लेते हैं लोग. अभी डिबेट चल रही है कि भाई लोकसभा और विधानसभा में तो आरक्षण की सुविधा है, तो वहां आप दलित और जनजाति को देते हैं, राज्यसभा और विधान परिषदों में नहीं है. वहां कितने लोग हैं? Deplorable condition. Now, whether the institution of reservation has to be strengthened or the process of representation has to be strengthened, these are the questions which we need to discuss and find a solution.
Or the form of help provided.
Correct. But the problem starts, ma'am, when we refuse to acknowledge the issue at all. There was a movie called Manji, the mountain man, that came. Dashrath Manji, who single-handedly broke the mountain because he was not able to reach the hospital with his wife when she was injured, and she died. Can there be a bigger symbol of love than that? Ma'am spoke about the Calcutta judgment. Is Taj Mahal bigger than the monument which the Dashrath Manji created? And again, you are talking of Dalit Muslim Alliance, Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim. That's not workable at all on the ground. Mayawati experimented in the last assembly election. Ma'am, you won't believe BSP gave 97 Muslim candidates the assembly symbol to contest. 90% of them lost.
It did not go down well in you.
Correct. Entire country. Mr. Owaisi tried to come to Bihar about this CAA NRC bill, and he planned to come on stage with Jitan Ram Manjhi. I have a great amount of respect for Jitan Ram Manjhi. He comes from Musar community who still relies on eating rats. And there is only one single PhD from that community on this day in 2020. Dr. Hulesh Manji, I know. Can you imagine there is a community which has only one single PhD holder? The Musar community. And then you say that I don't believe in caste, there is no casteism in India. It's systemic. Look at the number of vice chancellors. Naren Jadhav was the first. BL Chopde, RS Kuril, fingertips pe. In the entire 7 decades of Indian independence, there has been no Dalit cabinet secretary till date, which is considered the topmost position in the Indian bureaucracy. There's not been a single Dalit foreign secretary till date. सोचने का विषय है. मीडिया में क्या रिप्रेजेंटेशन है? There's an interesting study that came out in 2006. It's a senior journalist of the Pioneer. 90% of the editorial position, they are dominated by one single caste. I don't need to say that caste. One single caste, sir, in the chief editorial positions, be it print media, TV media, electronic media. Now it is social media. How do you expect them to give you perspective, which is diverse? What we need to ensure is the social diversity at the key decision-making positions. Be it media, be it judiciary, be it entertainment, be it sports. We need to make conscious efforts as a society. Lit Fest में क्या होता है? Symbolically एक जेंडर जस्टिस पे सेशन होगा, महिलाओं को बिठा देंगे. सोशल जस्टिस पे सेशन होगा, एक दलित को बिठा देंगे. दलित लेड एम्पावरमेंट कैसे होगा? दलित लेड डिस्कोर्स कैसे आएगा समाज में? इसकी चिंता हमें आज करनी होगी. This is my stated belief that unless until you ensure adequate amount of social diversity at critical decision making position. I told you what a decision making position is. The topmost position in the bureaucracy. Not a single Dalit in 70 years. 32 crore population, sir. You could not find a single one. This is how things are. What should be the new Dalit agenda? Mention about the 3-generation rule. That if a family has enjoyed the fruits of reservation for 3 generations, that family must forego the benefits. For whom? Not for the rest of the category, but from within the reserved category only. And that has happened in a couple of states. The Andhra way, the Bihar way. In Bihar, back in 2008, Dalit and Mahadalit categories were created. In the Mahadalit categories, Musar community were put, who were the least advantaged, no access to education, no access to good standard of living, they were kept. And then specially designed policies were accrued to them. This bifurcation has happened already. In Andhra, it has also happened. What has been the traditional occupation of the so-called Dalit community? चमड़े का काम रहा, चमार समाज का. लोहे का काम रहा, लुहार समाज का. तो आज क्या हो गया है? When we don't pay attention to a traditional wisdom, आज का सबसे बड़ा चमार कौन हो गया है? बाटा. सबसे बड़ा लुहार हो गया है टाटा. That is what has happened. If we don't pay attention to it, पंचर का काम होता, नाई का काम होता था. ये कौन सी कम्युनिटी का काम होता था? झटका और हलाल का डिबेट चल रहा है. झटका बिजनेस में कौन लोग हैं? खटिक समाज के लोग, खटिक समाज कौन से संबंध, दलित कम्युनिटी के होते हैं, खटिक समाज के बड़े नेता हैं बहुत अलग अलग पार्टियों में, दिल्ली से पिछले बार एमपी भी थे. Again, like a very substantial portion of them, they have succeeded, but again, the halal and jhatka debate which is happening, there is a movement which we are planning to initiate of jhatka certification. Jhatka certification, that is, acha, oh sir, jhatka certification that is happening. We are trying it in Bihar, getting together all the Khatik Samaj people, because you go international anywhere, they have halal certificate. You go to Israel, they have kosher certificate, that we serve only kosher food. Kosher is a Jewish requirement of diets. So can there be a nationwide Jhatka certification movement? This is something where we can ponder upon. To promote and encourage the people who are dealing in Jhatka meat. I'm happy to know that and be happy to discuss about it, sir. So this is what is happening. How do we create icons? How many of you heard about this lady poet who was probably the first Dalit woman poet recorded in the history, Kallavi? Kallavi hails from Karnataka, and she was a disciple of Basavanna. And she's the first Dalit woman poet who spoke about the radical practices of Hindu Dharma. जो व्याप्त कुरीतियां हैं उसके खिलाफ आवाज उठाया 12वीं शताब्दी में, in the 12th century. How many of you have heard about Soirabai, Janabai, Jhalkari Bai? These are the icons which we need to identify, the historical figures. Jhalkari Bai used to be with Rani Lakshmi Bai, and she was trained like that. When that struggle happened, Jhalkari Bai was equally ferocious. And a general said that if there were hundreds of Jhalkari Bais, we would have never acquired India. She came from the Dalit community. And mind you, I'm not talking about the male members. These are the women folks of the Dalit community who have excelled, who have sacrificed, starting from Kallavi from south, Zohara Bai Maharashtra, Jana Bai Maharashtra. For historical figures, when it comes to women, we are told Chand Bibi पढ़ लो, रजिया सुल्ताना पढ़ लो. ये लोग कौन पढ़ेगा? ये डीकॉलोनाइजेशन का प्रोसेस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. जो हमारे यहां इतने हिस्टोरिकल फिगर्स हैं, should make a conscious attempt to do some research, to make some effort to identify such heroes and heroines. Correct. Savitribai Phule का नाम हो गया. Her community is disputed. Phule comes from the word fool, Mali community. Presently in the OBC, but in the larger sense, socially disadvantaged. But these are equally important figures, sir. But the media, the mainstream media, the discourse builders, the narrative makers, उनको मजा किसमें आता है? Negatives कहां से लेके आओ? Who is talking about internationalizing the caste issue? Mind you, the first problem, the first present generation problem is Dalit Muslim alliance, the so-called fictional alliance. The second problem is internationalization of caste issue. There is a lobby which is working on bringing a convention against caste discrimination in the United Nations. Very dangerous. On domestic level and at the international level as well. How do you use caste as a tool of division? I agree it's a civilization fault line. कमी है, बट कमी को अंदर रह के कैसे सुधारना है, परिवार की कमी है, डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन होता है, तो प्रयास यही रहता है कि लोग चार दीवार के अंदर सुलझा लें। अब फर्ज करिए अगर इंटरनेशनली कितनी बदनामी होगी अगर कास्ट पे कोई कन्वेंशन आ जाता है यूनाइटेड नेशंस पे, तो बहुत सारे फोर्सेस लगे हुए हैं सर।
ये तो लोग करेंगे।
करेंगे नहीं करेंगे वो बात का विषय है मैम, बट लगे हुए हैं लोग। हार्वर्ड में, ऑक्सफोर्ड में बहुत सारे ऐसे स्कॉलर्स हैं जिनकी ऐसी फंडिंग हो रही है। आप लिखते रहो, एट्रोसिटी लिटरेचर अपना बढ़ाते रहो, बट ये एम्पावरमेंट के स्टोरी सामने नहीं आएंगे। मिलिंद कांबले, टीना डाबी, हिमा दास, कल्पना सरोज, एक तो पुराने आइकन्स मैंने बताया आपको, जनाबाई, सोयरा भाई, कल्ला वे, रानी छलकारी बाई। ये प्रेजेंट डे आइकॉन्स हैं। डिक्की I mentioned, Dicky was created and envisioned by Mr. Milind Kamble, a Mahar from Maharashtra. He started this. Tina Dabi, all of us know, she topped the UPSC exam. Hima Das, we all know, she won the sporting medal. Kalpana Saroj, again, is a very interesting story. She was going to commit suicide because of caste atrocity, but hers is a very inspiring story of how she actually transformed her life. She came into business. But the media would not show this to us. Media would show what? Ravan, Bhim Army, Jignesh Mewani. I'm not saying they don't exist. They are there.
They're ideologues.
Correct, they're ideologues. But they also exist. This is something which we need to follow. The true extremes. दो अलग धाराएं चल रही हैं, एक जो तोड़ने की बात कर रहा है, एक जो जोड़ने की बात कर रहा है। इंटीग्रेशन और इंक्लूजन कैसे होगा? रिप्रेजेंटेशन से होगा। पूरी की पूरी दुकान इन लोगों की इसी बात पे चल रही है कि देश को कैसे तोड़ना है, समाज को कैसे तोड़ना है। मित्रों, ये चिंता का विषय है। इन दो धाराओं में से आप किस धारा को चुनेंगे? भीम आर्मी की धारा है, रावण की धारा है, या दलित इंडियन चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री की धारा है? एक जो आपको इंकरेज करता है और एक जो सिर्फ यही कह रहा है अपनी राजनीतिक रोटियों को सेकने के लिए कि दलित मुस्लिम साथ आओ। It's a cause of concern. The two streams, and we have to choose where are we going to proceed. This is very important. I went to Nepal for a study tour and I realized that the Nepalese constitution, which has been made after years of struggle, years of difficult conversations, they have made provision within the constitution of the country, that every single political party would have social diversity, would have geographical diversity, would have gender diversity. This is an inspiration. Even the post of a speaker in a legislative assembly, sir, let's say for 3 years there is a male, the next 3 years they are bound to keep a female. Within the political parties, let's say the election committee of the political parties, the parliamentary board of the political parties, they are bound to have representation from each social category, from every geographical region, from both the genders. That is not a requirement in India yet. Although parties in their respective constitution, they say that we are going to follow social diversity, but unfortunately they don't. The forces which I was talking about were the proponents of negativity. They've become very active after 2014. 2014 के बाद एक सक्रियता बढ़ गई है। ऊना का केस हो, रोहित वेमुला का केस हो, SC/ST एट्रोसिटीज का केस हो, भीमा कोरेगांव का केस हो, एक ऐसा वातावरण बनाने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है कि जब से ये डिस्पेंसेशन आई है, नई डिस्पेंसेशन, तब से दलित मुस्लिम खतरे में। अरे क्या बात करते हो? The highest number of elected representatives presently are from one political party, that is the BJP. BJP was the first national party to have a Dalit as its national president. Can you tell me the name? No other political party till now has given this position, this coveted position, to a Dalit. Leave around national stage for the state level as well. It's very difficult. अगर बना भी देंगे तो बेचारा कितना चला पाएगा, ये भी चिंता का विषय है. अभी रिसेंटली तमिलनाडु में स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट की नियुक्ति हुई है, एक यंग दलित को बनाया है, डायनेमिक. देखिएगा उसके बारे में, बट इसकी चर्चा कोई नहीं करेगा आपसे. एल मुरुगन. ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल हायरार्कीज में, क्रिटिकल डिसीजन मेकिंग पोजीशंस में सोशल डाइवर्सिटी कैसे रिफ्लेक्ट होगी? एल मुरुगन was the state president and national president Bangaru Lakshman. The first Dalit speaker of Lok Sabha was not Meera Kumar. Can you tell me who was it? We had scholars. He was never a speaker, he was the deputy prime minister. GMC Balyogi during NDA. कोई कॉन्शियसनेस की कमी है. Babu Jagjeevan Ram is another case study. Babu Jagjeevan Ram never lost a election in his entire lifetime. His story is very different from the story of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He was someone who remained within the Hindu fold. Ambedkar in his lifetime said, through the medium of many books, पैदा होना मेरे बस में नहीं था, मैं हिंदू धर्म में पैदा हुआ, बट मैं हिंदू धर्म में मरूंगा नहीं. बट उसके बाद भी उन्होंने एक ऐसे फेथ को चुना, उन्होंने एक ऐसे रिलीजन को चुना जो भारत के सबसे करीब था. और उसके 55-56 दिनों बाद उनका देहांत हो जाता है. क्या वो इस शोक में थे? क्या उनका विरोध हुआ कि मेरे साथ साथ हिंदुस्तान के सभी दलित भाइयों बहनों ने बौद्ध धर्म को नहीं अपनाया? It's a question of research, not making any statement. But Babu Jagjeevan Ram, on the other hand, what was Ambedkar's electoral performance? That is well known to all of us. Babu Jagjeevan Ram, on the other hand, never lost an election. Went on to become Krishi Mantri, Rail Mantri, Videsh Mantri, Defense Minister. As a railway minister, he came out with a very interesting concept called Pani Pandey. What was Pani Pandey? He created a post called Pani Pandey in every single railway platforms of the entire country and reserved it for scheduled caste. What was the duty of Pani Pandey? To serve passengers and officers with water. Look at the ingenuity of this policy move. That through Pani Pandey, you will not say no, oh Pani Pandey पानी पिला रहा है. But ये एक particular caste से आता है. He comes from Dalit समाज. तो एक तीर से कई निशाने कैसे करने हैं? आपने एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी दे दिया, आपने समाज में जो भावनाएं व्याप्त थी उससे भी संघर्ष करने का काम किया. Pani Pandey is a great example of what he has done. He is someone who has not studied well. His works. Became the deputy prime minister of the country, the only Dalit to reach that position. Henry Kissinger, all of us have read and heard about him. He said about Babu Jagjeevan Ram that he was the most hawkish defense minister Kissinger has ever seen in his lifetime. 1971 war. The only war in the history of mankind that led to a creation of a new nation. Other wars that have been fought between two nations, dismemberment of nations. But the only war in the entire history of mankind, मानव जाति के इतिहास में एकमात्र ऐसा युद्ध हुआ है जिससे एक देश का जन्म हुआ है सर, बांग्लादेश का. बांग्लादेश का बहुत गहरा संबंध है. जोगिंद्रनाथ मंडल वहां जाते हैं, इस भावना से जाते हैं कि दलित मुस्लिम के साथ जाकर के वहां पे एकजुटता आएगी, बट तब नहीं आई. उन्होंने लिखा है in his 48 pages letter of resignation, ma'am, he has written about it, the amount of atrocities It was said, who is going to clean our toilets? By General Zia, if everyone goes. So the entire controversy, which was mentioned in the previous presentation as well, over CA and NRC, that has to be looked dispassionately. The biggest beneficiary of this policy move is going to be Dalits, ma'am. The forward community people, they came. They had the means. उनके पास उपाय था, संसाधन था, वो सोच थी, वो कल्पना थी. मैक्सिमम जो लोग बेनिफिट होने वाले हैं वो मेघवाल हैं, वो भील हैं. तभी एनआरसी, एनपीआर, सीए, एंटी दलित, एंटी मुस्लिम, अरे कोई समझाने वाला ही नहीं है. आर्टिकल 370, 35A, इसका जो एब्रिगेशन हुआ, सबसे वहां पे एससीज को रिजर्वेशन मिलता ही नहीं था, एसटीज को रिजर्वेशन मिलता ही नहीं था, महिलाओं को रिजर्वेशन मिलता ही नहीं था. एक 1976 के एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑर्डर के माध्यम से उनके लिए प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट की व्यवस्था की गई थी. जम्मू कश्मीर का दलित अलग है, शेष भारत का दलित अलग है. यह मानसिकता थी. गुड दैट यू पॉइंटेड इट आउट. बट ओनली आफ्टर रिमूवल ऑफ आर्टिकल 370, आर्टिकल 35A, now they are on the same platform. But who is going to communicate this? Who is going to articulate this? That's the moot point. And that is why it's people like us, it's scholars like us who speak truth. बात करनी होगी बाबू जगजीवन राम की, बात करनी होगी जोगेंद्र नाथ मंडल की, बात करनी होगी बाबा साहब ने बौद्ध धर्म क्यों चुना. पॉलिटिकल फोर्स, कल कांशीराम जी की बर्थ एनिवर्सरी होने वाली है. क्या उन्होंने धर्म परिवर्तन किया? क्या मायावती ने धर्म परिवर्तन किया? क्यों नहीं किया? एक बहुत अच्छी पुस्तक है कांशीराम जी की, एज ऑफ चमचा. उसमें उन्होंने बोला है कि उनका जो पॉलिटिकल मोडस ऑपरेंडी था, वो गांव गांव में जाकर के, सुहेल देव पासी एक राजा हुए थे जो लड़े थे, उनको बिहार में सलहेश के नाम से बोलते हैं, उनकी पूजा होती है. तो दिस वाज द मोडस ऑपरेंडी ऑफ कांशीराम कि इन छोटे छोटे फेस्टिवल्स में, इन छोटे छोटे गैदरिंग्स और गेट टुगेदर में जाकर के अपनी बात करनी है. अभी कहां से संभव होगा जब जय भीम और जय भीम की बात होगी. रियलिटी उनको मालूम थी, उनके उत्तराधिकारी को कितना मालूम है मुझे नहीं पता. बट ये समझने की आवश्यकता है कि कुछ लोग हैं जो इसमें लगे हुए हैं कि किस प्रकार समाज को हम और खंडित कर सकें. अरे कमियां हैं, किसने मना किया कमियां नहीं है. मैंने शुरुआत कमियों से ही की थी. वाइस चांसलर्स नहीं है दलित कम्युनिटी के, बेंच में नहीं है लोग, फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी आज तक नहीं हुआ, कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी आज तक नहीं हुआ, प्रोफेसर सिंगल डिजिट में है. बट जब तक ऐसे कॉन्वर्सेशंस नहीं होंगे तब तक रास्ता नहीं निकलेगा. Dialogue and discourse like this will lead to a solution. This diversity consciousness is very important. Now, what has to be done from our side? Tomorrow, this forum is going to be launched. DAPSA, DAPSA, Dalit Adivasi Professors and Scholars Association. जो concerns और aspirations हैं, academics के जो इस वर्ग से आते हैं, उनको आर्टिकुलेट कौन करेगा? ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि ऐसे फोरम्स और बने. If we don't take this initiative, sir, if we don't make this effort, you know who all are indulging in this. That's tomorrow. You know who all are indulging in this. The Dalit Muslim Brigade, the Jai Bhim Brigade. They are going to capture the narrative. That's a big question. Are we going to allow them to hijack this? Or are we going to make efforts from our side? That depends on us. Another such initiative is this. This has happened. Ambedkar Savarkar Samvad. Now, if you talk about it, all the present scholars A lot of people, if you go and show this to your friends in IIC, they will probably be very furious.
In Maharashtra, there will be fights.
Yeah, but this has started.
Very good.
Both of them avid non-vegetarians. Point number one. Both of them were connected to Ratnagiri. Both of them started temple entry movement. Both of them had similar views about Gandhiji on caste as an institution. So why not create a point of confluence on caste issues? Initiatives like DAPSA, initiatives like this, initiatives like DICCI, the ones which talk about integration, not disintegration, social inclusion, representation, social diversity. This is extremely important. So initiatives like this, which I mentioned, DAPSA and Ambedkar Savarkar Samvad, we envision to have a positive, a constructive conversation on caste, a constructive conversation where we acknowledge the fault lines, where we don't follow this caste blindness,
The only
denialism.
that there can be
But with this and ideas that I proposed in the last span of 45-50 minutes, what I was given, I'd like to end my presentation and like to thank you for being a very patient audience.
There is a school of thought that says that in a modern nation, you should make the individual the basis of lawmaking rather than communities. I mean, don't you think making communities the basis of lawmaking, whether it is Dalits or Brahmins or OBCs or even Muslims, or you call them minorities, I mean, don't you think this actually exacerbates and perpetuates those very fault lines by not recognizing the individuality of people, but just viewing them as a community?
Correct. So whether an individual or a community has to be viewed in a collective or not, and whether the legislations that are being envisioned, that are being implemented, has to be on the basis of individuality or community. This is my personal view that caste and community, it's very diverse when it comes to India, and there is no doubt in my mind, there is absolute clarity that at the time of independence, there was a group of caste which were deprived, which were institutionally oppressed. There was no access to education, there was no access to good standard of living, and so on. At that point of time, making legislation for the community was practical. But today, when there is a decided set of beneficiaries who have immensely benefited, like me as well, who have immensely benefited from the fruits of reservation, should there be a policy rethinking or not? In a society where each individual is a society in himself, each individual is a collective in himself or herself, I absolutely agree with you. But back, if you ask me, like if you take me back to 1947, 1950, my answer would have been different. But today I'm more inclined, and I agree that the person, the man or the woman, has to be the center of policy instead of a society or a community.
I have a comment on one of your initial remarks. You said Valmiki and Vedavyasa are from the lower caste, right? I think in the case of Vedavyasa that wouldn't apply.
He came from a fisherman community, from what I...
No, the reason for Vedavyasa is that Vedavyasa is the offspring of an Anuloma marriage.
Yeah.
So the father happens to be a Brahmin.
All right.
Right. The mother happens to be from the fisherman community.
Correct, yes.
Right. So if
It was
even
an
if you look
intercaste
at
marriage.
it's an intercaste marriage, but it is Anuloma, which means that the man is the higher caste.
Correct.
So even in the Buddha's discourses, he advises his own friend, who is worried about the ancestry of one of his children, maybe because he's born from a low-born woman. He says, no, you don't take the woman's caste, you take the man's caste into consideration. So this is the context in which Vedavyasa is a Brahmin. But in case of Valmiki, of course, he was not from Brahmin caste.
No, but with respect to Vedvyasa as well, I was struggling with a similar doubt in my mind. but a saint from the Sampradaya of Chinmaya Mission, he was of the view that Vyasa could be regarded as a fisherman folk for the purpose of the presentation. It was his view that because I made a similar presentation in front of him, and he raised that what could be done. So he said that there is no complete full stop on it, that whether he was a fisherman or not. But for the sake of argument, if you are saying, because see, the idea or the motive behind calling him or behind identifying his community is not to expose the cleavages. It's for integration at the end of the day.
Mine is a technical point. See, there are two types of marriages traditionally recognized by Manu and everybody, which is Anuloma and Pratiloma.
Yes.
Right? So
But
if,
in that father's
if Devyani, a Brahmin woman, married a Yayati, a Kshatriya, then it was a Pratiloma marriage. Okay, Devyani, a daughter of Shukracharya, marrying a king is still a Pratiloma because the king is below the Brahmin. Okay, whereas in Vyasa's case, what has happened is it is the Brahmin who has married the fisherwoman.
There are a lot of conceptual flaws in what even you are proposing, and partly, I mean, it is not wrong what he said. I'll give you the reason. First of all, you quoted Manu. Now, to determine, I mean, whether what is the caste of a fisherwoman, that will be more important. Now, if you go by a lot of other scriptures, it is written, I mean, there is a whole lot of story made that someone swallowed someone's this thing. It's a little funny story. Someone semen, so therefore she was a Kshatriya and not a this thing. Yeah. But ignoring that story, now even quoting Manusmriti, a Brahmin who lays with a Shudra woman or lower than that loses his caste as well. So there is a limit even to an Anuloma marriage. First of all, that. Second thing, there is a concept of jati and of caste. Never confuse this thing. In many cases, jati is determined by the mother's caste, particularly when it is indeterminate marriages like that. So in that case, Vyasa's this thing is actually falling in indeterminate area, and there are many such cases like that. Secondly, and lastly, there was no such definite breakup of caste at that time, although there were Brahmin, Shudra and all that, but there were a whole lot of people who were from, for instance, Ekalavya's class. People who are forest dwellers did not really have any definite class. They could not have been put under Dalit or a Shudra or something like that. So there are many people who are also from an indeterminate caste.
Please.
One thing I fail to understand, you say you're Paswan, and you named so many things. You missed Baba Choharmal.
Are. Yes.
So that is, I mean,
No, I did
there's
not
a
miss.
Paswan history before Choharmal
correct.
and after. I mean, it's very clear.
No, so there is a belief, sir, that Raja Salhesh was an avatar of Baba Choharmal.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the one point. And second thing, thing is that as you're saying, you and all this, those people, you see, Dalit or any community, that was never a commodity here. See, those people who have been buying and selling slaves, women as per her figure and age, and men as per how it can be used. So now right now they are teaching us about. So the point is what you are saying, that there's a difference between समाज को बदलना है और समाज से बदला लेना है. There are two different things. That's what I get out from your this thing.
एक इस पे मेरा ऑब्जर्वेशन है छोटा. समाज को बदलना है या समाज से बदला लेना है?
जी.
Lalu Yadav came to power in Bihar. Since I come from Bihar, and he gave a nara called Bhura Bal Kaat Dalo.
सर उन्होंने नहीं दिया था.
In the stage he made that, but it was attributed to him. But the center is not that. मैं एक जर्नी की बात बता रहा हूँ आपको. उससे पहले, but ये नारा बैकवर्ड कम्युनिटी से आई थी. आया था ये नारा. बट उसके पहले थोड़ा 1970s में आप जाइए. 1970s में जब पहली बार एक पिछड़े समाज का व्यक्ति मुख्यमंत्री बना, जननायक कर्पूरी ठाकुर. मैं बता रहा हूँ आप. एक नारा आया, कर्पूरी कर्पूरा कर्पूरी कर्पूरा छोड़ कुर्सी पकड़ अस्तुरा. दिस केम फ्रॉम द फॉरवर्ड कम्युनिटी. अब उसका बदला लेने के लिए भूरा बाल काट डालो. भूरा बाल काट डालो का मतलब क्या है? भू, भूमियार, र, राजपूत, ब, ब्राह्मण, ल, लाला, इनको काट डालो. और आज वही लोग इनको राज्यसभा भेज रहे हैं. तो ये समाज से बदला लेना, आखिरकार क्या कारण है कि लालू यादव 15 साल तक बिहार में शासन करते हैं? वो इस नैरेटिव के साथ कि बदला लेना, कि ऐतिहासिक न्याय कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स से लेना है, कि ऐतिहासिक न्याय उनके तरह गुंडा और बाहुबली बनकर के लेना है। समाज को बदलना है। आप यू सेड अ वेरी राइट थिंग एंड आई एग्री विथ यू दैट लालूज मॉडल इज, अगर वो बदमाश हैं तो हम 1.5 गुना बदमाश बन जाते हैं। वो गाड़ियां लूटते थे, मैं और गाड़ियां लूटूंगा। उन्होंने ये नरसंहार किया, मैं इससे बड़ा नरसंहार करूंगा। ये समाज से बदला लेना है, बट ऐसा रास्ता नहीं है। जो
Exactly.
दूसरा
That's what
रास्ता
I
है समाज
understand
को
from
बदलने का।
your perception. जी.
करेक्ट सर।
Second is Bhagwati Devi. She was MP from Musa community. अगर आपको याद हो,
भगवती देवी।
भगवती देवी.
When which
Bhagwati, Bhagwati.
this
Devi.
was what
Something in 95 or 96.
95. Which party sir, do you remember?
I'm not really sure.
Bhagwati Devi,
Bhagwati Devi.
Musar community.
Yes, she's
Probably then Bihar only. Yeah.
if she was from Bihar.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty sure. A party I don't
All right.
exactly remember. So there was a debate between Menaka Gandhi and Bhagwati Devi in the parliament.
Which
that-
era? This was 90s, right?
It was in 90s.
Bhagwati Devi and Minka Gandhi.
And Menaka Gandhi. It was about atrocities against animals.
Interesting.
So the comment she said, what I'm coming to is that it is not that you have to capture the diamond market. It is not like this. This is what I'm coming. That how to regain the leather market. That is more important than capturing because it will take another 3 generations for you to understand the diamond.
But the modus operandi is probably.
Yeah, it's so that was she said against atrocities against animals.
I'll
That
take a
is
note. Sir.
what she
Bhagwati
was-
Devi and Minka Gandhi.
Yeah.
Atrocity on
So
animals.
yes, she said we eat
Rats.
rats.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And then there is a Baghel community.
Okay.
We also tame these monkeys and all this. That's what she said. She said that's bad. That is commercialization of animals that will not allow. That's what Menaka said. She said, ma'am, in your house you are having more than 20 dogs instead of guards. That is a worse commercialization of the animal. So this is what we are doing is commercially we are benefiting, and for you it's a social status.
Correct.
Taming a dog is no way better than taming a monkey. So that's what I'm saying. Where I mean to say is that getting back to the professions like what Jetka and all this, that's more important than
This had come up even in case of rearing of elephants in Kerala, for instance. No, just some people said like you keep bullock carts, you keep horses. Just because we keep elephants, you're calling it discrimination. Okay, anyway, just one thing to add to that. जो आपने कहा कि समाज में बदलाव लाना कि बदला लेना. नैरेटिव के जब हम बात करते हैं, और यही ऑल थ्रू जो मैं आपके डिस्कशन में जो पॉइंट में वो करना चाह रही थी कि एक चीज़ है जो हमको माननी पड़ेगी कि डिप्रेस्ड कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, देयर आर होल लॉट ऑफ दिस थिंग, कि इसको डिनाई करने वाली बात ही नहीं है, आपको एक रियलिस्टिक इंडिकेटर से जाना चाहिए. दूसरी बात ये है कि आप एक्नॉलेज करें कि डिप्रेस कम्युनिटी है और उसके लिए किसी को दोषी बनाएं रादर देन टेकिंग इट अ कोर्स ऑफ सोशल जिसको कहते हैं नो जो एक होता है ना एक सोशल इंटरैक्शंस में ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम क्या वो होता है. एक चीज़ मैं आपको बताऊं, फॉर इंस्टेंस अंटिल द 17th century, not 17th, until the 16th century, जब मुगल आए थे उनके ज़माने तक ब्राह्मणों को डिप्रेस्ड कम्युनिटी माना जाता था. सो मच सो दैट मुस्लिम इन्वेडर्स ने भी उनको टैक्स करना, मतलब कि वो किसी आउट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट नहीं था बट आउट बिकॉज दे वर क्लासिफाइड अलॉन्ग विथ फकीर्स. तो ब्राह्मण इतने गरीब थे कि मतलब कि अगर जब एक कोई सुल्तान आया जैसे फिरोज शाह तुगलक और उसने बोला कि नहीं ब्राह्मणों को क्यों एग्जेम्प्ट करेंगे, वो तो हिंदू धर्म पढ़ाते हैं. सो देन the other communities, among them there were Shudras, because there were a lot of traders class was ruled by Shudras. They paid up for the Brahmin community, they were so poor. So this conflation between a depressed socio-economic status and fixing blame. Now the fight starts from the problem of fixing blame when you allege discrimination, because a lot of thing can be a circumstance which was evolved over time. I'll give you two examples. The Holkar state, the richest state at the point of independence, what is their origin? They are from the Dhangar community, who are जो चढ़वाए और गड़ासी community के हैं आपके राजस्थान में, who are classified along with Bhils and tribals. They are from the team. They are the rulers. Similarly, the Reddy rulers of Andhra Pradesh. And there were many, there's a Chamar dynasty. So the social upheaval, even there have been tribal dynasty, like for instance, the tribal Gonds, they're called the royal Gonds because they came from this thing, and one Rajput community also, which originally has this thing. So this social circumstances, change of social circumstances has been happening all through, and due to the particular occupation due to which a certain like आपके वो चमड़ा वो करने वाले हो गए, या आपके पर्टिकुलरली ये क्लास हो गए जो वो साफ करते हैं. So it can be a social circumstances, and you cannot fix the blame. Once you stop fixing the blame कि भी it is because of that, it is because of that, then this sort of a dialogue is going to happen. Whereas the intention, then that is the reason I was coming to narrative and ideology. The intention of these particular people who follow an ideological this thing is that they want to fix blame, and they want to make two people fight among themselves.
Look, in the course of my presentation, did you ever realize that I was trying to fix some blame on someone?
No, I'm not accusing
I'm just asking
you.
you, like,
I'm just making the point about narrative.
Feedback, for my
I'm
feedback.
appreciating, because that is the reason I was adding to that, that there's no need to blame,
Correct,
because there
correct,
is no one to
Yeah,
blame.
yeah,
It is
so
just social dynamics. They're up and down.
Correct. That's right. Yes, my young friend from.
I agree with almost everything that you've said, and I
Oh,
come
don't agree with me. Don't challenge me. You're supposed to
No,
challenge me
so
on. Like,
I'm
ma'am
coming
has
to
been
that.
a very constant.
coming to that. I am from UP, you're from Bihar, so we've seen the caste realities of India socially, politically.
Oh no,
play
but
out.
again, that is a misnomer, because UP and Bihar is badnaam of casteism. The entire country does casteism, sir.
I agree, sir, but politically, yeah.
Andhra, exactly. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So my question is that I'm sure that you've seen the realities on the ground today in 2020. Sir, I agree with the need for integration that you were talking about, but how receptive do you think the Dalit community is today for this? Because when I see Dalit movements, most of them are like, earlier it was Mayawati, etc. Now even Chandrasekhar and all of them are very aggressively trying to disintegrate. So how receptive is that community? Because I haven't seen a lot of leaders organically coming up from the community who talk of integration.
There have been very many stories of integration, but the media, which is a particular agenda, which is a particular propaganda, which is a source of finance, they don't want you to show the stories of integration, sir. What example did I give? The last two examples which I gave you, DAPSA, Dalit Adivasi Professors College Association, there is a Rashtrwadi Ambedkarwadi Mahasabha, where nationalists and Ambedkarites are getting together to talk of integration and inclusion. There is DICCI, who is working with the government of India on Stand Up India scheme, Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is one such scheme. I'll briefly talk to you about it. The Stand Up India scheme, sir, it talks about creating 5 lakh entrepreneurs from SC, ST and women categories. The idea is there are 2.5 lakh branches of public sector bank across the country, and they've been asked to support and handhold entrepreneurs from 2 categories, one SC or ST or women. And Dickey is the standing committee observer of this scheme. So this scheme is happening. The media wants you to consume the news which is venomous, which is poisonous, and that is going to generate heat and steam. But the stories of integration, the stories of inclusion, like during the course of my presentation, who was the first Dalit Speaker of Lok Sabha? None of us knew about it. The Dalit Deputy Prime Minister, the Dalit National President, the Dalit State Presidents. People are getting assimilated. People are given position in the organizational hierarchy of mainstream political parties and mainstream organizations. But unfortunately, that doesn't create enough TRPs. That doesn't create enough hashtags. That doesn't trend on Twitter.
So you see the hope of like the larger Dalit community on the ground coming up, like more leaders coming up in the future.
Leaders have come up. Leaders have come up. The maximum number of elected representative MPs and MLAs from the so-called socially disadvantaged communities are in the BJP. आंखें खोल के देखिए कभी. Correct. OBC Prime Minister. So leaders have come up. But I agree, it's not your fault. You have there are forces that are leading you to consume such news which only exhibits disintegration and disunity.
Thank you.
Sir.
सर मेरा पहला सवाल थोड़ा सा पॉलिटिकली है, मतलब आप थोड़ा सा एक तरफा झुके रहे हैं। जैसे आपने बताया कि बंगारू लक्ष्मण भारतीय जनता पार्टी मतलब अध्यक्ष रहे हैं,
हाँ।
लेकिन आपने ये नहीं बताया कि सुशील कुमार शिंदे या फिर जगजीवन राम दोनों कांग्रेस मतलब यूपीए
मैंने
सरकार
जगजीवन
से
राम की
थे।
इतनी बात की अपने पूरे
सुनिए,
प्रेजेंटेशन
नहीं,
में।
नहीं, फिर मतलब एक तरफ होता है कि किसी ने बनाया नहीं बनाया, इन्होंने अध्यक्ष बनाया, लेकिन अपने फिर एनडीए का नहीं बताया कि मतलब कोई भी कैबिनेट मिनिस्ट्री मतलब बीजेपी सरकार से है, मतलब बीजेपी से है। मेरा पहला सवाल तो मतलब मुझे थोड़ा सा ये एक तरफा लगा।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
मैं एक सेकंड, आपको लगा कि ये बायस था किसी एक
हाँ, एक
पर्टिकुलर
तरफा
आइडियोलॉजी
लगा,
के
हाँ, हाँ,
प्रति, ठीक है।
और दूसरा सवाल कि आपने बताया कि जोगिंदर नाथ मंडल जो थे,
हाँ।
मतलब पाकिस्तान में जाकर दलितों को कहता आप यहाँ रहो, यहाँ पर अधिकार वगैरह मिलेगा, फिर वो फेल हुए, ठीक है।
ऐसा लिखा हुआ है, मतलब
हाँ,
ये ऐसा
मैंने
उनका
पढ़ा,
उनका
मैंने
उनका
पढ़ा
48
ऐसा।
पन्नों का त्यागपत्र है जो उन्होंने कहा है, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ ये,
फिर
हाँ।
मेरा अगला सवाल ये है कि मनोरंजन व्यापारी का एक किताब है इंटररोगेटिंग ऑफ माय चंडाल लाइफ, उन्होंने मेंशन किया कि जैसे जो दलित और सवर्ण दोनों पाकिस्तान से आए थे या बांग्लादेश से आए थे, दोनों के बीच एकदम लेवल तक का भेदभाव किया गया। तो हम लोग उनकी जिंदगी अभी तक मतलब सुधार करने में किस हद तक कामयाब रहे हैं, या फिर जैसे दिल्ली में ही जो भी रिफ्यूजी थे तो सवर्ण जो सवर्ण समुदाय के लोग थे उनको कहाँ जगह मिला, मतलब उनको लैंड दिया गया, दलितों को नहीं दिया गया। तो अभी तक जो 70 साल हो गया उसमें हम उनको कितना मतलब रिफॉर्म कर पाए हैं, तो इस पर भी बात होनी चाहिए। मतलब वहां पर तो सिर्फ हम उनको कह देते हैं वहां फेल कर गया, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो दलित हैं उनके लिए क्या काम हुआ है, या फिर इतना गैप क्यों है?
नहीं, देखिए, पहला प्रश्न आपका मैं बोल सकता हूँ ना, आपका पहला प्रश्न जो आपको लगा कि मैं कहीं ना कहीं इस पूरे प्रेजेंटेशन में एक विचारधारा से प्रभावित रहा। अगर पिछले 70 साल के ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड की मैं बात करूंगा, अगर पिछले 7 दशकों में कोई भी दलित व्यक्ति कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी की पोजीशन तक नहीं पहुंचा है, कोई पार्टी का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष, मेरी बात पूरी हो जानी थी, मैंने आपकी बात पूरी होने दी थी ना, तो उसके लिए कौन जिम्मेवार है? और ये सब सोशल फोरम्स है, ये नॉन पॉलिटिकल फोरम्स है। ये डापसा में कहीं आपने कमल का फूल देखा क्या? मैंने तो नहीं देखा। नहीं, बिल्कुल मैं सहमत हूं आपकी बातों से, और ये बिल्कुल आपकी व्यक्तिगत राय हो सकती है, बट अगर समाज में व्याप्त कुरीतियों से लड़ना है तो समाज को एक साथ आना पड़ेगा। जिसने पोजीशंस दी हैं वहां मैंने बात किया है, और आज भी बात करता हूं। आपने कहा भाई कुमारी सैलजा, मुझे बहुत सारे दलित बुद्धिजीवी आज मिलते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि भाई आज से 10 साल पहले जब कांग्रेस शासन में थी तो हमारे पास इतने दरवाजे थे, शिंदे थे, वाशनिक थे, पुनिया थे, शैलजा थी, आज हम कहां जाएं? ये प्रश्न आता है। मैं बिल्कुल सहमत हूं आपके इस बात से, बट बहुत सारे दरवाजे हैं। मिलिंद कामले हैं, एससी कमीशन है, प्रेसिडेंट से, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इतने सारे पोजीशंस हैं। अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो जनमानस साथ क्यों आता? 2019 का डेटा आप देख लें कि भाई वंचित समाज ने, उपेक्षित समाज ने किसी एक दल के लोगों को क्यों चुना है, अपना विश्वास, अपना मैनिफेस्टेशन उनमें क्यों देखा है, अपना रिफ्लेक्शन उनमें क्यों देखा है? जवाब आपको मिल जाएगा सर।
मतलब आप जैसे बताया कि बीजेपी में बहुत सारा कुछ को प्रमोट किया गया है, मतलब वो मेरे हिसाब से वो टोकनिज्म ही है कि एक दो को कुछ, या अभी राष्ट्रपति जी हैं,
या आपकी व्यक्तिगत राय टोकनिज्म है, ठीक है।
तो आपको क्या लगता है कि कभी ऐसा समय आएगा कि आरएसएस में भी, आरएसएस के चीफ हम दलित को देख सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल।
या
नहीं, देखिए मैं किसी विशेष विचारधारा का प्रवक्ता नहीं हूं। आई एम नॉट spokesperson of any particular political party, but I am sure the churning which is happening, जैसे मैं बार बार एक शब्द मैंने रिपीट किया, आप लोग एज अ स्कॉलर आपको ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल हायरार्की में डिसीजन मेकिंग पोजीशंस में सोशल डाइवर्सिटी रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही कि नहीं हो रही है। सांगठनिक ढांचों में आना, सीधे चीफ बन जाना। देश में कोई प्रधानमंत्री भी दलित नहीं हुआ है, देश में प्रधानमंत्री अभी पिछड़े समाज का आया है, सो कॉल्ड बैकवर्ड कम्युनिटी।
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आजकल यूनिवर्सिटीज में देयर हैज बीन अ मूवमेंट ऑफ विलिफाइंग हिंदू गॉड्स बाय सम दलित स्टूडेंट्स। मैं भी एक बैकवर्ड कम्युनिटी से हूँ, मैंने आज तक ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा कि हिंदू गॉड्स आर एक्चुअली, मतलब हम सब ऑल्टर्न हैं और वो हमारे हीरोज को उन्होंने पहले पास में मारा। लाइक दुर्गा इज नॉट सपोज टू बी माई हीरो, माई विलन, But this is what's going on in many universities, and there have been conversions. Like I've been hearing cases of people converting to Islam and making an example of this, so-called
not
Dalit
many, but
student
2
leaders.
universities in the country. Not many. JNU and Jadavpur. Like, be very only 2, not many.
Sir, since you come from Bihar, is there any ground reality to support it? I mean, or is it just fabricated in the universities by the clique?
You see, if you've asked me for my experience, I teach at Patna University, and you'll be surprised to know, आप लोग को आश्चर्य होगा ये जान के कि आज भी जो छात्रावास हैं वो जाति के आधार पर डिवाइडेड है। भूमियार जाति के छात्र एक हॉस्टल में रहेंगे, कुर्मी जाति के छात्र पटेल छात्रावास में रहेंगे, दलित समाज के छात्र अम्बेडकर छात्रावास में रहेंगे। बट जो आपका नैरेटिव, आपका जो प्रश्न था, वो हार्डली 2 यूनिवर्सिटीज तक रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है, और उन 2 विश्वविद्यालय में भी वो फ्रिंज पे चले गए हैं। महिषासुर दिवस मनाया गया था,
ट्राइबल्स प्रोटेस्टेड अगेंस्ट दैट।
बट वही सॉल्यूशन ये है कि आप इनको लीडरशिप पोजीशन पे कैसे लेकर के आएंगे। हर जगह JNU SU हो, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी हो, फैकल्टी पोजीशन हो, academic decision making हो, the idea is to ensure adequate social diversity. The idea is to ensure adequate voices from the marginalized communities.
And while we are doing it, not let these people hijack the narrative. That is another very.
We are there to fight it out, ma'am. I agree with you. I agree. But there is a new thinking which is emerging. We need to find positive icons and weave narrative around them. Thank you so much. Thank you.